You know what, I quite like the GWM Cannon XSR in particular, and I think that may come from the fact that it's running on some nice big chunky Cooper tyres. And I haven't driven one without the big tyres and big suspension yet, and to be honest, there are some issues as far as articulation. It doesn't have quite as much clearance, a few other of those sorts of issues, and it can feel a little bit abrupt, even on suburban roads with potholes, which most utes that have been given the off-road treatment would just brush over and not even notice that they're there. But all the rest of the stuff that you would expect a truck to do, the Cannon does that job. Now, this is, depending on what you see online, between 50 and 52 grand drive away. Now, if you have a look at just about any of the other competitors, particularly the traditional competitors, you'll be lucky to get a 4x4 twin cab for that kind of money. And when you compare the performance of this to the ones that you actually can get, it certainly smooths the field out and makes this much closer to the other competition. And when you include the features, then obviously it goes way over the top of them and becomes a much more interesting proposition. So I guess you really need to have a think about why people buy trucks. And depending on which camp you sit in, people either buy trucks because they like to look tough and do all those unnecessary things and go away on weekends. But in reality, the majority of trucks are bought by tradies, first responders, fleets that do really hard work like mining and those sorts of things. So it's very easy to dismiss truck buyers as people who are just, you know, trying to get a bit of a flex in the car park. But really, people buy trucks, those second group of people, they buy them because the trucks are capable and they're built to do a particular job. Now, for the price of a fully loaded Ford Ranger, where you're looking in the sort of $70,000, $80,000 mark, why would you not drive around in a Mercedes wagon if you're a tradie? Because you can get one for around about the same price. It's because they're not built to do a truck job. Now, I can feel in the Cannon that it is built to do truck things. It's pretty rigid, it feels tough, it's got steel in all the right places, it's got protection underneath. It's just the suspension is a little bit underdone. But it's still built to do truck things, which means it should come into an equation for people who need to buy trucks to do truck things as a consideration for one of their future vehicles. One of the other things that people buy trucks for, or the reason why they choose a particular truck, is because of the reputation. Land Cruiser 79 series, Hiluxes, all that sort of stuff, Ford Rangers. They've built a reputation from a long time in the market. Great Wall Motors' reputation probably isn't the flashiest. I just saw a Steed that I drove past then, which is a kind of made under license, older version of, I can't tell if it's a Navara or a Rodeo, but it's got a few of the ripped off parts from that. The Cannon is not the same sort of Chinese built vehicle. This is not a vehicle built under license from someone else of an older generation. This is a new generation built by Great Wall Motors based on all the things they've learned over the years. That doesn't give them a free pass when it comes to reputation and reliability or supportability. That sort of stuff they've got to earn. But how do they do that? Well, I ask you, what would it take for you to buy a GWM? So deficiencies, a little bit down on power, a little bit down on suspension tuning clearance. The 8-speed gearbox is really good. The driver assist stuff is really good. The space is outstanding and the features are miles past everybody else. It's just that reputation they've got to work on, and you can't blame them for having a crack at this market because we love utes. In fact, 10% of last year's market, 1.2 million vehicles, was made up of just the Hilux and the Ranger combined. They did about 60,000 sales each, with the Ford Ranger coming in first for the first time in a few years, just beating out the Hilux. And even the third best-selling car was the truck specialist Isuzu D-Max, which came in third, doing 30,000. That beat the RAV4. So that shows you how popular trucks are in this country. And of course, Great Wall Motors want to crack at that market. They've just got to try and figure out how they can fix their reputation. That's going to take time. Get up, fatty. I know you're full of chicken. Go on. Good girl.